Have you ever agreed to something even when you knew you couldn't afford it? Not because you wanted to, but because saying no felt impossible. This is the story of a simple lunch that turned into a lesson about human nature. In the short story, The Luncheon, Somerset Maugham tells a simple, almost ordinary story, one that reveals something surprisingly deep about human nature. The narrator is a young writer, not particularly wealthy, but trying to build a life in a city that demands more than he can afford. One day, he receives a message from a woman he barely knows. She wishes to meet him for lunch. He hesitates, knowing he cannot really afford it, but he agrees. They meet at an expensive restaurant, and almost immediately, the situation begins to shift. The woman, polite and composed, reassures him with a simple statement: "I never eat anything for luncheon." Relieved, the young man feels a sense of comfort. Perhaps this will not be so costly after all. But then she orders a dish, then another, then something more, each time casually and effortlessly, as if it were nothing. Caviar, salmon, champagne. The young writer watches, trapped between politeness and growing anxiety. He cannot object. He cannot refuse. He can only smile and agree. With every order, the cost reaches not just financially, but emotionally. What makes the situation so uncomfortable is not only the money, but the imbalance, the quiet pressure to appear generous, the fear of seeming small, and the inability to say no. And this is where the story becomes more than just a lunch. It becomes a reflection of something deeply human. We often act not out of what we can afford, but out of what we feel we must appear to be. If you enjoy stories like this, simple on the surface but revealing deeper truths, consider subscribing to Literature, Literally. In the end, the bill arrives. The young writer pays, and the cost is far more than he expected. He leaves not just poorer, but changed. And then, years later, he learns something unexpected. The woman who once claimed she never ate anything for luncheon had become extremely overweight. In that moment, the story reveals its final, quiet, ironic twist. Not dramatic, not loud, but deeply satisfying, because it reminds us of something simple yet powerful. People are not always what they say they are, and sometimes life has its own way of balancing things.